From ABC7, this is Midday Live.
The CDC is trying to clear up confusion on its quarantine guidelines as it's set to recommend expanding booster eligibility to young teens.
ABC7 News reporter Amy Hollyfield is tracking the new developments for us. Amy?
Kristen, it looks like those 12 to 15-year-olds will get approval today for that booster shot. So I checked with a local pediatrician this morning to try to get some questions answered for parents, especially since so many of their kids now have COVID.
I'm really excited for more kids to be more protected.
Dr. Sawyer, a pediatrician in Marin County, says it is good news that another segment of the population will soon be able to get boosted. But if they have had COVID, do they still need a booster, or do they now have enough immunity?
You know, based on what we know, there's emerging evidence that getting a COVID-19 vaccine after recovering from a COVID infection actually is going to give you added protection.
If you or your child does have COVID right now, we have new guidelines from the CDC about quarantine saying if you get COVID, you should isolate for 5 days, day 0 being the day you tested positive, or the day symptoms started, whichever comes later. After 5 days of isolation, you can take a COVID test if you have access to one. And if it's positive, go back in isolation for 5 more days. If it's negative, then you can end isolation, but wear a mask anytime you're around other people for the next 5 days. The CDC is not requiring testing for asymptomatic people.
I think what CDC is feeling is the constraint of the fact that most Americans can't easily get a test. But from a science point of view, getting a test is the right thing to do.
Back to the boosters. If the shots are available tomorrow for the 12 to 15-year-olds, but your child has COVID, how long do they need to wait before getting boosted?
Generally speaking, the recommendation would be that you would be fully recovered and asymptomatic. There's not guidance on the timing. There is some recommendation that people who were treated for COVID-19 with monoclonal antibodies or have a history of the multi-system inflammatory syndrome in adults or in children may need to wait a while after recovering from their more severe infection before they can get vaccinated.
She also points out maybe you do now have immunity against Omicron, but we don't know what variants are coming after that. So another reason, she says, to get that boost and get more protection, get that extra later. Now, the CDC advisory panel is the panel that's voting today on those boosters. If and when that approval comes, we expect that shots could be available for the 12 to 15-year-olds as early as tomorrow. Reporting live, Amy Hollyfield, ABC7 News.